Hi, welcome to a rapid fire session, another episode. So, you're a trusted source for unpacking AI in the enterprise. So, today we are diving into enterprise AI, the backbones that supports large scale enterprise automation, data, and intelligence. So, we have here our guest, Rebekah Panepinto. She's a cloud data and AI strategist. Welcome, Rebekah. So if you could briefly introduce yourself, what you do, and then how you help enterprises, especially on the AI journey. So yeah, please.
Yeah, happy to. Yeah, Rebekah Panepinto. I'm with Artisan Studios, and we're a boutique firm helping the enterprise transform their business using AI and all kinds of fun, exciting technology. Really, we're coming to drive innovation for our clients and heavily focused on retail CPG as well as manufacturing and even just helping SaaS companies to really accelerate their product development.
Okay, fantastic. So let's get right into our rapid fire questions. It's going to be around 10 questions and feel free to answer as you can. So in your view, what is enterprise AI platform?
It can honestly be a lot of different things. I feel like the definition is still a little bit up for interpretation. But really the crux of it is being built on a backbone of an LLM. Your LLM of choice, ChatGPT, you can use Bedrock from Amazon, Copilot from Microsoft. But at the foundation, it's a large language model, and it's helping to solve problems either around generative AI or agentic AI.
Mhm.
Generative being a way to generate content and ideas, and agentic being a way to have an agent actually execute work for you.
So yeah, that's a great distinction between Gen AI versus LLMs versus conversation AI. So in our journey with enterprise and AI platforms, we also have conversation AI platforms, mainly for chatbots and voice agents in the mix of Gen AI. So that's a great distinction. So how should enterprises prioritize AI initiatives when the resources are really limited, right? Because most of the enterprises they're starting now, so they need to build in-house teams like prompt engineers, AI solution architects, AI integration engineers, LLM engineers. So there are several roles: conversation AI developers, Gen AI developers. So having these limited resources, focus on quick wins like automation or a long-term transformative projects like predictive analytics. So how should enterprises prioritize these with the lack of these resources?
I like to say that right now with AI, it's a fun, free space to play. Folks should be playing with AI in their free time.
Mm-hmm.
Getting used to using ChatGPT to help you plan your next vacation. Just starting to get familiar with it and let yourself be creative. When it comes to finding enterprise solutions that can really be transformational, you're going to have to go a lot of different angles. You have to try a lot of different things until you find one that really moves the needle. So it's a really good space right now to, hey, host a hackathon. Give people a couple days to just play and bring ideas to the business that they've been doing in their skunkworks side projects in their own personal lives. Right now, it get to really be exploratory because it's still new in the market and there's still a lot of opportunity for it to go a lot of different paths without there being a right or wrong answer.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, hackathons are the best way. We have seen clients hosting hackathons, and as I said, side projects are the best, way to look at. I mean, I think one of the CEO said, I think maybe JPMC or some other company. He said, I need all of the employees to learn AI, or I don't know. He said maybe leave the company. So there was a headline out there. So I think every employee has to learn AI, irrespective of whether they're in the business or IT. So yeah, a lot of value and vision oriented. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, remove the fear and give opportunity for folks to explore and play and create, and they'll stay loyal to your company and find ways to solve new problems.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to next one. Can you share a case study where AI drove measurable business value in a specific enterprise setting, like reducing costs or boosting revenues? What made it successful in your experience so far working with enterprises?
We have a really cool one recently that we did for a customer in the photo book business. They create a lot of like stock images and things like that, but also help folks put that all together to create photo albums for their own memories and their own families. Well, they asked us to help accelerate the time from idea to completed photo book, because it was at a minimum 4 to 5 hours people were spending uploading their photos, putting everything together, documenting their vacations, etc. So we came to them with an agentic solution that now allows the user to be able to just interface with prompts to create that photo book in now less than 30 minutes if they want. They can say, hey, I want every photo from Disney where my daughter is looking at the camera and smiling. And the AI will go collect all those, put it in a photo book together, and you're on to the next page. So it's really cool in a customer experience example that now users can go from spending their whole Saturday afternoon creating a photo album for their Christmas gifts to 30 minutes having something well documented. And hey, now in that time, they can create 4, 5, 6 photo books to document their whole year.
That's nice. Yeah. I mean, so speed, scale, as well as it's very safe, right? So because it's personalized. Yeah, great example of the agentic impact. So moving on to next one. How is AI changing creative workflows in enterprises? I know you just touched upon one of that photo album, which is creative. So such as marketing or product design especially.
Yeah, I feel like in that example, it was creative and agentic. But I think just when it comes to creativity, the opportunity for ideation has just been flung wide open. Even myself, that's what I use it for. When I feel stuck, when I have a blank page, is how do I fill this blank page? And you allow AI to start being kind of your brainstorm buddy to just get things down on paper, to start creating, to say, hey, what would it look like if my logo said XYZ did XYZ? Well, hey, I can ask a photo opportunity to generate something and get a good idea. And then pivot from that to maybe what the real solution is. Not necessarily that it's going to serve up the answer right away, but a basically friendly tool in ideation, I think, is one of the coolest parts of leveraging AI to get those creative juices flowing and start thinking about things that you maybe never even would have thought of without this third party throwing out some just off the wall opportunities and ideas.
Yeah, I love it. So basically AI does the heavy lifting and we own the craft, right? So we own the creativity through the prompts, right? So yeah. Okay. So that's a good one. So moving on to the next question. So how can enterprises leverage AI ecosystems through, for example, we have open source communities, we have different platform providers, different vendors providing it to accelerate the development without the vendor lock-in.
Yeah. Thankfully, there are a lot of options and tools out there, and I see a lot less concern for vendor lock-in in the situation where you pursue using an LLM than typically you would see picking like a cloud vendor, for example. The thing is finding the time and space to get familiar across your options and then picking where you want to really develop some more expertise so that you can completely maximize what that technology solution has to offer. You want to go deep ultimately on the path that's right for you. Maybe it's Bedrock with Amazon, Copilot with Microsoft, but you want to touch all of them and then find one to go deeper in because they will continually advance the technology at such a fast pace that in order to reap all the benefits, you want to at least be deep in a technology without being too concerned about vendor lock-in because you can always go seek other options as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. So ecosystems over the empires, right? So excellent point. So, okay, so moving on. So what are the benefits of using AI SaaS platforms versus, I know it's in related to the previous question. So what are the benefits of using AI SaaS platforms versus building in-house?
Cost savings can be huge on going the SaaS path. If you don't have the time and space to build or interest in creating your own IP, SaaS is a great solution. There's a ton of options across different industries solving different specific vertical problems, and you're going to be able to get up and running fast. However, if you want to own IP, if you want to build something that scales, if you want to maybe an AI company of sorts yourself, which some companies do. A lot of retailers don't. They want to be a retailer. So SaaS makes sense in that situation. If you're a company where your AI can be a game changer for the longevity of your business and really change an industry problem by having unique IP, then by all means, there are also great partners to help you co-develop that and build and bring it to market.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I have seen in our experience, most of the services companies, like, industry vertical companies, they're mainly using SaaS. So mainly the technology companies, the technology providers, they are kind of, IP oriented because they want to, market that as a solution to their clients. So it's very pragmatic path, and fast start, especially if you use SaaS, and with room to specialize also. I mean, you can bring a SaaS solution and be able to specialize on the specific solution or agents, and then it's up to you if you want to IP the solution as well. Yeah, that's a good one. So, thank you. And then moving on to the next one. So what are the biggest hurdles in moving an AI POC, proof of concept, from a small pilot to a solution that actually scales across the enterprise, across multiple business functions or departments, or even the entire global enterprise? Usually most of these enterprises, they have global locations, right? Multilingual, multiple countries. So there are different cultures as well. So what are the hurdles in terms of creating a POC?
Yeah, it's getting buy-in more than anything, especially when some people are timid or have fear when it comes to AI. But finding areas where there can be tangible wins, like solving for HR and recruiting issues, solving for onboarding issues, things that are maybe a little bit less risky to the business, but can really transform how you get new headcount and people in the door.
Right.
Those are good places to start because people can rally around that, because everybody wants new, great coworkers. Everybody wants somebody onboarded faster and productive faster. So finding areas like that where the win is a little quicker and you can get a lot of folks rallied around making sure it comes to life and is successful, you're going to get, a snowball effect after that of saying, well, this was awesome over here in HR. Now let's find a way to tackle and solve a problem for finance, for example.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I could not agree more. So culture before implementation or before actually coding it, right? So I totally agree with that. So moving on to the next one. So what is one major non-obvious consequence? It could be either positive or negative of an enterprise AI adoption that the business world is not talking enough about it. When the IT teams are actually talking about AI, but the actual business, it could be customer service, HR, legal, finance, whatnot, right? The different business who are the actually consumers of this AI, they're not talking much about AI. So what would be the consequence, non-obvious consequence?
Yeah, one that comes to mind is skill atrophy, to be completely honest. When you get in a situation where you're using AI to allow you to turn off your brain to some extent, you can get a little lazy and you can forget to spot check and forget that these things still need some human intervention, and probably for a while. A great example is when you put autopilot on in your vehicle. Just because you put autopilot on your vehicle doesn't mean you get to go take a nap.
Yes.
You still have to be aware at the wheel. You still have to be ready to jump in and bring a human element to these AI tools to make sure they're being effective and they're getting the outcome you want. And yeah, you don't just get to ride off into the sunset. It's to help you be better, not to help you check out, unfortunately. But keep those skill sets up. And you can only advance and take the technology further and further.
Yeah. So we have seen that, as you said, fear. So instead of adoption. So the better way is, using AI as a co-pilot, as you said, right? Not completely on autopilot, right? So so it's an important call out. And so people have to elevate the skills while they automate, while, you automate certain activities, for example, customer service. So you can automate the customer service, calls coming in, but you still somebody has to, monitor the calls and see if the AI is able to handle the empathy portion of it and fine tune that and use that as a co-pilot to be able to assist the AI itself to provide the guidance, right? So, yeah. Okay. So I think we have one last question. So what's your advice for leaders pursuing their first AI engagement? So because we've been talking to many leaders who've been talking for almost like 1-2 years, but they're still not even started the pilots, they're still at the use case. So we're still talking about use cases. We're talking to business, but while the competitors are actually putting the actual agents in production live. So I don't know what's behind their brain in terms of. So what is one advice you offer who are actually pursuing their first AI engagement?
I want to always leave space to dream, that's for sure. But eventually you want those dreams to turn into action. And I think it's leaving space to allow that to happen. We talked earlier about hackathons. Leave a 2-day hackathon for ideas to just be at least played with, something tried and tested just to see if it could solve a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's making sure that, though you've got to focus on the operations, that space is left for forward thinking, dreaming, even we'll call it a little bit, so that you don't get left behind in the industry, because there's folks that have the time and space to do these things and will be rewarded by spending that time now. Whereas the others that don't necessarily could wake up one day and find somebody that disrupted their business with a new AI startup. So leaving time and space definitely to let ideas at least start to become some kind of fun play, POC, even like I mentioned earlier, a new HR initiative to just get things actually going. Eventually you'll find a good way that is a good linchpin to get actually something rolling, tangible, and get folks excited about it.
Excellent. So what you're saying is actionable and with a little bit of clarity. It's a great playbook to start. So enterprise AI platforms, so they are more than a tools. They're actually ecosystem for innovation at scale. So any final thoughts or comments on overall enterprise AI roadmaps?
I'm very excited to see where it could go. I think we are barely scratching the surface. There's so much more to come, especially as more and more fear is pushed out and, facts take over instead, and tangible experiences with AI transforming people's day to day. I think the sky is the limit. We've just got to be able to learn how to basically interface with AI in our day to day in a way that makes us better humans instead of allowing ourselves to take a step back and let the AI just do the work for us. Being engaged, you can really make an impact and use AI to make your own personal impact greater than it ever could have been without.
Perfectly said. Thank you, Rebekah. So thank you for having us for this podcast. So I really love the insights and hope audience also love the insights. So follow a rapid fire sessions for a weekly, breakdown of everything AI. So if you have any questions about the platforms and need help navigating your enterprise AI stack, you can drop us a comment or reach out to us directly or follow this rapid fire podcast on a regular basis. So we basically call out a lot of, enterprise leaders who are actually working with and helping on AI initiatives. Yeah. So see you again for the next, podcast series.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.